today I wanted to discuss with you my views on failures. So failures has been a ongoing it was an ongoing process for me in terms of where I started out in my views of failure and where I am right now. When I started out, I was young, and my first failures in business were catastrophic. I lost all my staff at one point. I literally had to close the door to one of my retail locations. My company had failures where I closed down companies. Just really, I think my failures were really big failures. Some people have failures where, they had to reassess themselves and they were able to bounce back really quickly. My failures were multi-million-dollar failures. I hired the wrong people in different times that managed companies that I owned. I hired wrong technical persons that utilize technology in the wrong way that cause companies or other businesses that we dealt with to come after us legally. I had companies where we went and we created a product and persons came after us claiming that the product was similar to theirs. We had partnerships, horrible partnerships. We've trusted people that we were not supposed to trust, and by we I mean myself or my husband sometimes, because we were partners in business. Sometimes it's myself and my team. We hired the wrong people. We gave we gave contracts to the wrong companies. Just millions and millions of dollars worth of failure. And I remember at one point in my life, we went up against one of the largest companies in the world, and they destroyed us. We had to build ourselves back up from not on the surface of the ground, but beneath the surface, way down in the crust, almost close to hell. We had to struggle, clawing our ways back up just to reach the bottom, or what people call as rock bottom. We were below that. And a couple of the things that I learned from my failures were, one, how to do things differently. So I learned what not to do in partnerships. I learned what not to put in agreements. I remember from one of my partners that we went to court with, and he said, listen, our agreements are made, and I never forgot this. Agreements are made not for when the relationship is beautiful and rosy and we trust each other and we're fair with each other. The agreements are made, or contracts are made to protect you from situations that go opposite of all those rosy, beautiful feelings and beautiful situations. It's when it gets horrible. It's when it gets ugly. It's when people become unfair and they're monsters and they want to rip you to pieces. So now when I go into business relationships, I look at agreements and contracts differently. I'm a fair person. I have integrity and I have morals, but unfortunately, I've dealt with many, many people that are not like that. So as a result of that, I dot every I and I cross every T, and I look at the situation when it's rosy and wonderful, and I have, lovely feelings about dealing with this company or this person. And I also look at the agreements and partnership and relationships if it would go the opposite. And as a result of that, I experience less of the failures that I did in the beginning in regards to that particular situation. What I've also learned about failures is that some failures can definitely hurt for a long, long time, but it's like a cut Initially it's like bleeding and it's disgusting and it's runny and it goes through all these different phases, but then it becomes a scar, right? And sometimes scars are a little ugly, sometimes not, or we view them as ugly. But what a scar is, it's a reminder of what was there before. However, it's no longer bleeding, it no longer hurts, it's no longer festered, it's gone. And so some of my failures, I look at them as if I'm looking at a scar. And so it's okay. I don't put my current emotions in them. I remove it, I let myself heal, and I move on from those failures. And there are other failures that when they're happening, or even sometime after they've happened, you do not understand why you went through it, because that piece of the puzzle has not fallen into place as yet. However, having gone through so many failures in my life as an entrepreneur, I've grown to understand that when it is revealed, that piece of the puzzle, you will understand why that failure occurred. 1, 2, you will learn from that failure. And 3, you'll become stronger. I see this meme oftentimes online where you see this wolf, and one arrow is shot into the wolf and it's like on the ground, like dying and bleeding. And that was how and it will say something like how I used to be and how I am now. And then you'll see this bigger, stronger wolf with like 1,000 arrows in its back, and it's like still ready for battle. Right, it's still ready to let's get this on, and that's what we have to become from our failures. We have to become that bigger, stronger wolf that have all the arrows in their back, but we're so strong. We have learned so much. We have become better people. We have become we're smarter. We're tougher, but we're not hard. It's also important not to cause your failures to change the natural goodness that's in you as a business person, an entrepreneur, a career, whatever it is, whatever role you're playing in life. Do not fall into that category of people that are so bitter and hard and horrible because of what happened to them. Instead of growing from it and evolving, they succumb to those failures. So don't be like those people. And there's another meme that I really love, and it's the one that says, they whispered to the warrior, the storm is coming, the storm is coming. And the warrior whispers back, I am that storm, right? So that's what you have to say to your failures when it's just like, failures are coming, You're like, I am that storm. I am ready to go through whatever failures are going to come at me, because I am going to rise up out of those failures better, wiser, more successful. Some of my worst failures redirected me into a path of so much more financial gain. Yes, I lost a lot of money on this side, but I pivoted and I strategized, and it catapulted me in a different direction that caused me to gain greater wealth in that new direction than if I'd stayed or gone down that road. So failures do that. And they say that calm seas never made a skilled sailor, right? So I know that our culture teaches us to run from failures, and it teaches us to never do anything that will that you have the chance of failing at, and all these negative things that weakens us as we go through life. But the truth is, failures are necessary. Failures are going to happen. So it's not if they're going to happen, it's when they happen, what are you going to do? And yes, you can fail less by never doing anything, but a life that's never lived is worse than a life that you experience failures, right? So I recommend and I encourage you to grow stronger through your failures, to grow wiser, to pivot and utilize that failure as a stepping stone and not a hindrance.